Hey, what's up, everybody? This is going to be another 1v1 cast today between the players aAafeast and QXC. For those of you who did not see the last QXC game and are Terran fans, avid Terran players, definitely go ahead and check that out. QXC is a great strategy for Terran mirror matches that I think you can learn a lot from. Alright, guys, so this is going to be a P versus T on Metalopolis. Have to love to see what QXC has got for us today. As I mentioned before, these are games that he has sent to me, so let's see what he's got. I believe these are just Battle.net games. They are, as far as I know, they are not from any sort of tournament. But let's try to anticipate what we might see in this game. So we notice right off the bat that these players are in fact cross-spawned from each other. So probably going to see a long macro game this time around. But the question is, are we going to see harass style play from QXC, which is something he likes doing quite a lot. Maybe even throw in some Reapers here. There was one game where QXC went Reapers and Ghosts against Mass Stalkers, if you believe it or not, and he ended up destroying the guy. So are we going to see some kind of harass, or are we going to see a more defensive style play from both players? It's definitely going to be really interesting. Cross-spawn positions like this in a large map like Metalopolis, where there are lots of expanding positions, can really turn for an interesting game. Lots of late game APM with a lot of multitasking, hitting and running bases, dropping on mineral patches. It just becomes very exciting later on in the game. And we see the probe. Is he going to be an annoying little probe? Yes, he is. Pesky little probe attacking these SEVs. And of course, the probe is going to run away right before his shield goes out. That's what I like to call the Halo style play right there. QXC getting his barracks up, not going any kind of block off build right now, so he's going to pretty much be leaving his base exposed for an attack right up here, but in terms of scouting, all it's going to take is one Marine to deny any probes coming in, and that probe is probably going to stay in here as long as possible, basically until that Marine comes out. QXC now getting his command center up. Gas coming in for Feast, nothing too crazy there. Cybernetics core as well. The question is he going to go straight into a 4-gate? Maybe try to use this spot to his advantage. Although if QXC just builds a bunker here, it's really not going to matter if there is a 4-gate coming. QXC is probably going to be able to scout that in due time. But we actually do see that it's not going to matter if he decides to go up this ramp, because an expansion is coming down right now for QXC. So definitely going to see macro style play. Going to take advantage of that long rush distance. Not going to be doing anything too crafty, too tricky, but probably going to see some bunkers up here for defense. Now, actually, he is going a second gateway, so we might see a 3-gateway Nexus build. Actually, pretty standard for Protoss when they are going to go a macro-style play. Not going to see that robotics facility right away, and could have trapped that SCV there if he was paying attention. But just getting one side blade slice on him right now. QXC just hanging back, saying, hey man, I'm going to mine some minerals, going to make some bunkers, chill with my Marines right now. Going for a barracks, actually, not going straight into the factory, going for a third barracks. So right now we're just seeing a Marine play from QXC, not even any gas coming up, so QXC really is just going to be staying on the Marines, going to be mining up those minerals for teching purposes. At least not teching, sorry, production purposes for those Marines, possibly some Hellions late game with Infernal Pre-Igniter. That's something we definitely could see and is extremely effective on this map. If you take a look at these expansions, they are very difficult to stop Hellions. If you build any kind of backdoor defense here, Hellion just needs to go around this way. Same goes for this side. Any base here is really very difficult to defend against Hellions. So I think that's what we might be seeing from QXC. Lots of Marines early on, stocking up those minerals for Hellions later on in the game as well. But as we see, there is still no gas from our Terran player. Bunkers are coming up. This base is going to be saturated soon enough. Taking a look at what the Protoss player is doing right now, and also taking a look at the army size right here, we see that army supply is 11 to 8. So QXC actually does have a larger army. Actually, now the Protoss player is just meddling a little bit ahead. Something did die here. A couple of stalkers did die on here. So I missed that. To a couple of Marines. Not really sure how those stalkers were able to get pinched like that. But in any case, we see that there is a Protoss force approaching right now. Let's get rid of that tab. Protoss player is approaching right now. with just a couple of stalkers, a couple of sentries. He's not really expecting to do much on this position. Maybe he's going to be able to pick off a couple of Marines here and there, but these bunkers are pretty well placed. He can go around here, but then he runs the risk of getting pinched by SCVs and Marines popping out of the bunker like that, so definitely a dangerous position for him. He's not liking the risks that's providing for him right now. Smartly keeping a sentry and zealot back, so those stalkers, since the stalkers are faster, they are going to be able to get out of position like that much faster. But we see that the Nexus is coming up, so soon there is going to be equal income for these players. You see right now QXC is soaring ahead on the income, but then again the gas is much higher for the Terran player. But now double extracting right now on this base. QXC going for that engineering bay, going for a couple of tech labs, so going to be transitioning soon. The worry that I have right now with this many Marines, the Protoss players got to be thinking, hey man, Colossus is going to be awesome to toast up some Marines. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Robotics Bay coming down. Observer coming down as well, so that he could see if QXC is in fact still just pumping Marines this entire game. One thing that would be kind of nice, I think, for the Protoss player to do once he does get those Colossi up, he should go for this next base right here. Try to one-up QXC on the economic game. I think that's really what it's going to need right now, since that Nexus was a little bit delayed, and I think if he does want to stay ahead in this macro game, which definitely looks like it's turning out to be one, going to need to get that next expansion as soon as possible. QXC might be going in for a Nexus soon as well. Taking a look at what is happening right now, it's basically just stim pack and custom shell, so we are going to see some Marauders. So if that Colossi transition does come in, still going to have some Marauders, so not going straight Marines. Definitely does need to transition into something, but still don't see any tanks, or still don't see any factories, so that Hellion Call is not really planning out right now. There's not going to be any Infernal Pre-Igniter play, although that is so annoying to defend against. I know, because I've done it tons of times as a Protoss player. More sentries coming in, so actually this guy might be afraid of some kind of backdoor attack. QXC has a menacing force right now. Taking a look at the supply, it is 83 to 75. Taking a look at the army supply, 39 to 29. QXC has 10 more supply than the Protoss player does with that stim and the +1 attack coming across. You better hope that Colossi is going to come out soon enough. Those Colossi are going to come out soon enough. Excuse me. Right now, this menacing force is coming along. QXC probably going to wait until Stim is up to attack. Protoss player is moving out. A very dangerous position for him to be in. Going to need to use some force fields. Not a good spot for the Protoss player to fight. Definitely does not have enough. QXC going to go and maybe try to snipe in the Nexus. Definitely going to snipe in this pylon right here. Protoss player is in a crunch, but very nice force field by the Protoss player. Guardian Shield is up, but that is just probably not that much of a force he can deal with. But excellent force fields, trapping the Terran player so that the Colossus can do the work of two Protoss armies on this base right here. All the Marauders are dead, leaving just Marines. Fantastic play by the Protoss player. Excellent job of force fields once again, denying those Marines any maneuverability. I think QXC should have waited for a stim pack to go in and engage. That one Colossus just did a fantastic job there, especially with those sentries. Sentry and Colossus in a close position like this is just lethal and deadly for any early Terran force. So I got handed to aAAFeast. Did a great job right there. Both players going for their third expansion, so both these players solidly playing to the economic game right here. QXC is a little bit up just again. These leapfrogging bases are definitely going to keep his advantage going up in the game, as he's going to be able to afford losing armies like that early on in the beginning. Although he was able to get a couple of workers there. Looks like 30 workers killed, so not a bad exchange. But I think the Protoss player definitely got up on that. Now let's take a look at here. More force fields going on, but only one sentry left. The sentry's gonna get sniped down soon. Guardian Shield left, but those Colossus are in deep trouble right now. Those Marauders are going on those Colossus. Colossus definitely gonna be going down. And I would definitely say that exchange goes to QXC. However, there are some more stalkers coming in, and one Colossus actually gonna. What are you doing, Colossus? Colossus just getting sniped out by a handful of Terran infantry. Definitely not something you want to happen if you are a Protoss player. One observer chilling on this position. Just a couple stalkers now reinforcing this position. Definitely gotta love the positioning of this proxy pylon right here on the high ground. Gonna be able to spawn in units, not get the pylon sniped very easily. Got to go all the way around there. So definitely gotta hand it to that pylon positioning there from the Protoss player. And let's see, it is gonna be an M&M game with dropships. So QXC is going that. We see the reactor is up. We see the Protoss player is looking to engage this position right now. Perhaps not, actually. I think QXC's strength this game is definitely going to be the fact that he's getting these upgrades. It's going to be 1-1 soon against, I believe, 0. So while there are Colossus on the map for our Protoss player, we do see that Vikings are coming in as well. Marauders, decent against Colossus. If you can get good positioning off in those Colossus, it's going to be really hard to run away from a bunch of grenades pounding on this Colossus shell. So I think the Protoss player is going to be in a little bit of trouble, going to be needing to get something else. Maybe High Templar, but these upgrades are just going to kill him the longer he allows QXC to do that. Maybe another base is what he's going to need, and maybe just try to out-macro the Terran player, but as you see right now, that's not actually the case. Taking a look at this army, once again, it is 51 to 77, it's 57 to 77 now, so the Terran player definitely up on this game, has almost got 1-1, and actually going to be going for Terran weapons level, ship weapons level 1 as well. QXC in a solid position, already prepping for that next command center, always staying one ahead of the Protoss player, who is just on 3 bases. This one not even fully saturated. QXC getting the next command center up. Just taking a look at this, this gap is going to be widely is going to just widen throughout the game, because once this command center drops down, it's going to be tough for QXC to stay in a lead right now. All these barracks are producing units right now. Those Colossus are definitely the strength of the Protoss force, but I'm worried about those Vikings right there, because if QXC is able to get enough before these players decide to engage in a head-to-head confrontation, these Colossus are going to get sniped out before they're able to do too much damage. With some good Marauder micro, keeping the Marines back and just letting the Marauders and Vikings do the job. Those Colossus really aren't going to be able to do that much against that force, but we do see that Templar Archives are researching Psionic Storm, which is exactly what I think he needs. So definitely a good call there for Tech. I think he's going to need something else if he does want to stay ahead in this game. Just look at that Viking composition. That is 6 Vikings to about 3 Colossi. I believe that there are 3 on the map for our Protoss player, 4 coming in. So a 2-to-1 ratio is exactly what you need for Colossi. But with that +1 weapons, it's going to be even more in the Terran player's favor. Hopefully these Templar are going to be able to lead to an interesting engagement, because once those Colossi do go down, those Templar are exactly what you're going to need. But we do see that QXC is even preparing for this, or just noting the fact that EMP is awesome against sentries and stalkers, because those shields just get eaten up. Marauders do the rest of their work. And in case there are High Templar on the map, and we see a buttload of gateways coming in, 5 more gateways for the Protoss player, so he is definitely going to be trying to go for a instant reinforcement build right here, because he's got the economy to do it. He's gonna have the proxy piles to do it. A Nexus finally coming in for this player. QXC taking the high ground with the command center. So QXC is just going to be soaring ahead on this income count right here. We see that exactly what is happening right now in this game. QXC going to be on 1-1, going to be on 2-2 basically by the time any battle happens. So I'm worried that the Protoss player is not going to have enough. It's really going to come down to micro when you're dealing with skilled players like this and who have prepared for each other's counters. It's really going to come down to micro. Are those EMPs going to be able to come down in time? Are those Marines going to be in place to avoid the Colossi fire? Are those Vikings going to be able to snipe out those Colossus in time? Might they even be able to snipe out Colossus before any major battle happens? So here comes the game. Vikings are coming in trying to snipe out those Colossus, but definitely good use of Psystorm there, sniping a couple of those Vikings, but those Templar are getting a little begging right there. And I like the upgrade of charge right here. However, this dangerous position, Zealot's going to be taken out. High Templar getting ready for this, however, so great use of Storm right there. That's definitely what I like to see, but is that going to be enough Stalkers to deal with the rest of those Vikings? Only 1 Colossus left for the Protoss player. The Zealots are charging it right now, and EMP on the High Templar, doing a lot of damage on the Terran Forcer now, but there's still a lot left. Taking a look, the Protoss player was able to do a pretty good job on evening up this exchange right here. QXC is just up a little bit on army size. With that proxy pylon, though, there's no reason why the Protoss player can't just warp in a bunch of Stalkers and go in for the kill. I definitely think he should have done that, but he's being a little cautious, which I don't think he needs to be at this point. At this point, QXC's lead is just going to be soaring ahead of the game the longer that he waits, especially with those upgrades. We see that Protoss ground level 2 is coming up, as well as level 2 for armor. So the Protoss player is going to be on par with the Terran player, at least a little bit. I really like the use of that, of storming on air. It is very difficult to do successfully since air is extremely mobile. There is no collision in air. So let's take a look at what's going to happen right now. One more Snowstorm going in on these Vikings. A couple of Zealots getting meddled away. This guy's gotta stay in control of his Zealots. Cloak going to be coming in for these Ghosts, I believe. EMP all in those sentries, but good use of keeping those. Oh no, Snowstorm got taken out. There's no Storm left for the Protoss player. Great EMP by QXC, but at least he was able to morph these in Archons. The Terran player was not able to snipe those out in time. Unfortunately, that was just an amazing use of EMP there. He got those sentries down, but I think the Protoss player still would have had a shot if he was able to keep in that storm for those High Templar, but one more EMP just got them all down. We see there is a Strike Force coming in. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Late game, there are base snipings, basically, and Archons coming in to defend this position. Not sure if this high yield is exactly what the Protoss player should be hitting right now, but Stalkers are going in this position. One Nexus is down over here. There is no response from the Protoss player here for that base. There's just one Colossus left. This is looking very grim indeed for the Protoss player. He is now down a base. He was even trying to get one down here as well, trying to keep up, but tons of gateways actually in the favor. One Storm going to annihilate this. Why did he do that? I guess he did not have Storm yet. Unfortunately, this would have been a perfect place for him to Storm. Protoss player is in a very difficult position right now. He's going to be getting crunched. He's going to be getting out-microed, out-macroed. Not a good position for him to be in. Look at mineral count, actually not too big of a discrepancy, but QXC is going to be getting that fourth expansion, actually, a fourth expansion coming down and denying him with a bunker right here. This Protoss player is definitely going to have to get that next expansion coming in, and definitely not a good spot for Colossus and Zealots to be in. Just a couple of Vikings taking out basically the only edge he has over that Terran Force advantage. Going to be using some blink, hopefully taking out a couple of Stalkers there. Terran Force now going to be going in on this position. QXC's definitely got to have a bigger army than this. He's got some defense going back. This Nexus is going to be sniped. Not sure if there's much that the Protoss player can do at this point against an army size of 100 to 200. QXC not even using his full force, feeling confident in his ability to take out the rest of the Protoss force right here. Doing a good job using this ramp right here. Is there Storm at least? Yes, Storm is going to be coming in on this position. I think the Protoss player might actually be able to mop this up. QXC may be getting a little bit greedy, not using more of his forces here. Greedy or cautious, kind of difficult to say, but keeping a good about 100 supply back here, or maybe around 80 supply back here, just in case there is a counterattack. But at this point, you got to be thinking the Protoss is going to be on the defensive, not going to be using a lot of counterattacks. Really, the only thing he could be doing is maybe dropping in a High Templar here, killing some of these SCVs. But we see there's just like 17,000 mules being ejected into the air right now, and this Protoss force is a little bit menacing. However, there is no Storm, which is exactly what he's going to need if he does want to beat this. But it's just going to take one EMP for that to happen. Yeah, Archon's coming in a little bit too late. Too little, too late. More HTs just going and being meat shields eventually, actually, which is not what Archons are best for. So that is going to be the GG. Like I was saying, it's those early expansions that are really gonna, and that is a pretty cool death animation for Archons. Just got to point that out, and also very cool shooting animation for Marauders. Anyway, just as I was pointing out, it's definitely going to come down to who can secure the most bases in the macro game. Not only the most, but who can do it first. And QXC was always ahead of that. I think the Protoss player doesn't necessarily need to be on par tick for tat for that, but what he did need was more High Templar or more Stalkers or just faster upgrades, because we see right now QXC is on 3-3 upgrades. The Protoss player, I believe he was at max on 2-2. Yeah, 2-2, no Protoss plasma shields, and just not enough High Templar with energy. Definitely the turning point in the game, in my opinion. I think the Protoss player still had a solid shot. Winning was in this battle right here when that EMP just blasted that mana away of both the sentries and then the High Templar. That was really the ace in the hole for QXC, getting those ghosts out in time, anticipating that move, and using those I think he got those ghosts for those sentries, but it really ended up being a good job and a good anticipation move for those High Templar. Really ended up paying in his favor. Alright guys, that is the game. Thank you so much for watching, and there is going to be more coming. I know I've been slacking a little bit, but definitely going to be doing my best to get some more games up for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the clip at the end, and please subscribe and spread the word so be getting more viewers on here. Always love to be casting for the community, and the more I can cast for, the happier I get. Alright guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.